Bruce, how much of a continuation of, at least in terms of the intensity, was that from Tuesday night?
Continuation, I think it was more a response. They wanted to be better. I felt we were the better team up there, and they wanted to prove that. Listen, I think both of us feel we're the best in the Atlantic. So we went up there, got the 2 points in their building. They wanted to respond. And for the simple reason is that the rivalry has developed now between the two of us. You're going to get some intense matchups, and that's what you got tonight. And they were more ready to go off the puck drop than we were, and it ended up being the difference in the game.
Just to follow up on, off the puck drop there, the two shorties on the power play there. I mean, how much? I don't know if backbreaker is the word, but just.
Oh, they're a really good hockey team. You spot them 2 goals. Like, look what we did. We battled all night to get back into it. We never did. I mean, in terms of, we got back into it, sorry, but we never got the equalizer. It's a big hill to climb. So, lack of urgency in our top group. A little bit uncharacteristic, but it's crept into our game. So this would be good for us to our power play to get their attention a little bit. It's crept into practice. It's crept into our execution and urgency over the past probably month. So. A bit of a reset for us, hopefully, and get back to where we typically operate.
Bruce, on the first short-handed goal, Bergie kind of wins that face-off. So, is that guy supposed to get sort of picked?
Well, Coyle has to block, and Pasta has to be ready. I mean, they can't win both the position battle and the foot race, and off they go. So we got 2 guys that weren't ready. They were.
You don't get the 2 points. The crowd loves all the shenanigans with the fighting and stuff. Is there a value in that for you as a coach, for the team?
Well, there's value in sticking up for one another. There's a value in responding. Of course, there is. And some nights it's more important than the outcome. I'm not going to sit here and say one or the other. We'll look through it, but we wanted to respond. There was, we thought a high hit early on Cassidy. He's been out. We responded well, and it was kind of on from there, the physicality part. So I think both teams, kind of went toe-to-toe in that regard. So yeah, there's a lot of value in that. We pride ourselves in that. In fact, it was discussed earlier this year, we didn't have enough of that, and I certainly feel we do. And certainly try to prove that tonight and try to win the game at the same time.
Was there a hope that Tuca maybe could have had one of those first 2?
Well, yeah, you need a save. Their goalie was making saves. I'm not going to absolve him either, but I'm just looking at how the chances were manufactured. And it was the 5 guys in the ice outworked by 4. That's where it starts. Of course, we could have used a save and maybe 2, and all of a sudden they probably just forget about it and keep playing. But that doesn't happen every night. He's been rock solid for us too, so it's a bit of the guys like, hey, you just can't give up these chances. Now, I don't think it's been a shorthanded parade like it was as much last year as this year. I think there has been more attention to that part of the game. We just didn't have it early on tonight in terms of having the urgency to, against a team that we talked about will try to score shorthanded goals. So it wasn't like this surprised us. This is in their DNA, and so that's the frustrating part as a coach. We kind of knew they would attempt that, and they were able to do it even though we talked about it.
How would you describe, what word would you use just to describe the rivalry?
What word? Well, I think it's becoming more intense and it'll become more meaningful should we meet again. And it's getting amped up because both teams probably feel physically they're up to the challenge, whereas maybe before, I mean, they beat us in the series a couple years ago. They were very hard against us. We weren't quite there, so we've kind of addressed that, and they feel they're probably back there. I can't answer for them, but that's how it looked tonight.
Take 2 more.
Bruce, it seemed like the last 3 minutes of the second period was maybe the most sustained pressure of the night for you guys, and the ability to keep it in the offensive zone. Can you talk about that period in the game where you guys were able to keep it in the zone?
Well, that's our push, right? We feel we're getting back into the game. We're getting some hits. We're getting some puck possession. We're on the attack. We're getting our chances. So we got life. It's energy, and it's happened to us in the past where it's hard to get out of to clear pucks. You start losing races. You don't get clears. You're stuck in your own end. You're fatigued. So that gave us a lot of juice. It was a big goal for us. Unfortunately, we took a penalty on a scrum at the end of the period. I'm not even sure what happened with Marshy, but we end up in the box. They don't. That took some life away from us on our power play. So the life we created kind of went by the wayside a little bit. They score on a power play goal, and now you're climbing uphill again. You know, if it's 3-2, I like our chances better. Once they got that fourth one, now they're a good team, and they're probably going to find a way to put the game away, and sure enough, they did. Yet David Pasternak on a breakaway, with the tying goal on his stick. So I thought there was a good effort to push and get the tying goal. Nordy on a shorty. They scored 2 shorties. We had a post. So sometimes it's a fine line, and just at the end of the day, we didn't capitalize at the end.
What'd you think of
Nick-
Moore's? Go ahead.
Nick hasn't been with you that long, but he's right in the midst of everything, standing up for his teammates. Does that say something about him, and has that been good for sort of indoctrinating him into your culture?
It is good, and I'm glad to see that part of it. I mean, we were told he was a good teammate, so it doesn't surprise me, but you never know until that situation presents itself. And unfortunately, got taken out of the game a bit with the 10-minute misconduct. Now you're coming back on the ice, you're cold, so I was happy to see him do it. It's not now he's done it a few times for us, but he after they hit on Cash, he was the first one to go over, I believe, as well, to try to, to sort of rectify that situation. But at the end of the day, he knows that that's part of what we do here, and it's not important.
Thanks, everyone.